I'm sorry. Good morning, beloveds. I'm being a little silly this morning. I had one of those rare days where I literally turned off the alarm. Like I didn't have an alarm set. And I almost never do that. So, I also had kind of a weird day yesterday. My partner asked if we could go to the park a little early so that he could go to work a little early. And I said, sure. So, set the alarm a little early, got to the park a little early. And at 8:30 in the morning, I'm in the park and Reverend Jesse calls. And that's how my day started. I also, you can see the humidity's been something else because my hair is huge. But our campus is not safe. And so they're literally down power lines. And Centerpoint hasn't gotten to them yet. And there might be power in them. And if there's not power in the down power lines, then there's no power at the center. So that's why he called me at 8:30 in the morning going, how are we going to do a Sunday service? And I was like, well, here are our options. But the first thing out of his mouth is, I hope I'm not disturbing you. And I'm like, I'm in the park. We're good. So, yeah. And so we went back and forth. And then my mom called, and my mom is in town. My mom's a quilter, and she's in town for guild meetings, a couple of which she got to go to, and a couple of which have been canceled, and she's waiting to find out about the other two. But she's currently staying in an RV in a state park. And so she was like, she wanted to spend some time with me. And then she was like, oh, wait, you have laundry. You know, I have washer and dryer. And she's like, I will come to you. So she came to my house, did a couple of loads of laundry, and then I took her down to Mercer Arboretum, and she walked me all over Mercer Arboretum, which has gotten a whole lot bigger. So if you're in the area and haven't been to Mercer Arboretum in a while, they've opened a couple of new parts to the park that are really nice. I definitely highly recommend you go. Yeah, because she walked my all over. She even walked a part that I was like, I need to rest. So she went and walked a little loop, and I went and sat down and probably got bit by mosquitoes. So, but, yeah, so that's yeah. So there is a Sunday service. It is already ready. We got it done last night because there was no way for us to figure out how to get Reverend Jesse to go live. Otherwise, he was going to do it live for you, but it wasn't possible. So we recorded it, or I recorded it, and then David sent it to me, and it was like, and I didn't have to do anything to it. I mean, he's such a pro. So it is ready. It will be up for you live. And it's fantastic. But my goal here is to finish chapter 4 because we've been in it for 4 days. So, all right. Let's see. Okay. If I remember correctly, in chapter 4, we are starting on page 125 with the section titled The Result of Our Own Thinking. Thought is an inner movement, which is largely the result of one's perception of life and one's reaction to it. Every time this movement takes place, it takes place within mind, upon cause, according to law. We are dealing with the same power that molds the planets and all that is upon them. And the limit of our ability to use this power is not in principle, but in our understanding of it, which I thought was important enough to highlight. So take note. We are dealing with a neutral creative power, just as we would be in the case of electricity or any other natural force. It is on a higher plane, for it is the power of intelligence. Our thought, in its externalization, will reach its own level, just as water reaches its own level by its own weight and without effort. This is in line with necessity for the universe. In order to be at all, must be self-existent. By the self-existence of the universe is meant a universe which is its own reason for being, a universe which exists by virtue of itself being all. Its own reason for being. Each one of us today is the result of the use they have made of the law, either consciously or unconsciously. As soon as we realize this, we shall see that what we are now or what we now have and experience is the result of what we have thought. And the answer to what we shall be is contained in what we are now thinking. For we can change our thinking. Emphasis, earnest. People think and suppose that, people think, a person thinks and supposes that they let go of those thoughts, that they are finished with them. But such is not the case, for thought becomes subjectified in mind like a seed planted in the soul, and unless neutralized, it stays there and determines the attraction and repulsion in the experience of the one thinking. There is a constant action on the subjective side of life, and it is the unconscious process which decides what is going to happen in the outer experience. Whatever we think, act, believe in, feel, visualize, vision, image, read, and talk about. In fact, all processes which affect or impress us at all are going into the subjective state of our thought, which is our individualized use of the universal mind. Whatever goes into the subjective state of our thought tends to return again as some condition. So we and we alone control our destiny. Okay, now I highlighted that. And I'm going to disagree with it just for a minute, but only a little bit. Okay? Because he said, like a seed planted in a soil. It is one of the reasons why we should be very, very, very conscious about what we say to children. Because it is like a seed planted in the soil. Children see adults as authority. And the seeds that we plant in their soil with our words can have long-ranging consequences. It's also important to be very conscious of what we say to ourselves because we are planting those seeds in our consciousness. All right. Next section. So I don't disagree with him, but I do disagree with him on a minor point. And Ernest would be okay with that. That's why we're open at the top. All right, next section. Law is mind in action. There is one infinite life acting through law, and this law is mental. Law is mind in action. We are surrounded by an infinite subconscious, impersonal, neural, plastic, and ever-present thinking stuff, from which all things come, and which, in its original state, permeates and penetrates all things. By impressing our thought upon this substance, we can cause it to produce for us that which we think. Impressing our thought upon it is not an external act, for when we impress our thought upon ourselves, we are thinking into it. This is because of the unity of all mind. Jesus said, "For thou hast believed, so be it done unto thee." Knowing the nature of law, he did not say, "It is done unto you as you wish." He announced the universality of the law when he called it a law of belief. It's one of the reasons why we use clay, because Ernest uses that impress. We use clay as literally sometimes in the class, one of the teachers will break out like sculpting clay. It's like, you are impressing. Okay, next section. The destructive use of the law. Someone may say, I cannot imagine God not caring. I cannot either. But we are dealing with law. Does the law of electricity care whether it cooks dinner or burns the house? Whether it electrocutes a criminal or warms a saint? Of course it does not. Does the urge, which impels people to express, care whether a person kneels in ecstasy or lies drunk in the gutter? We are dealing with law, and it follows that since we are dealing with law, it will ultimately bring back to us the result of the forces which we set in motion through it. Consequently, no person who is enlightened would seek to use the law destructively, for they would know that sooner or later the very powers set in motion by themselves would ultimately destroy them. All they that take the sword shall perish by the sword. The Spirit of Christ is the Spirit which constructively uses the law. The spirit of Antichrist is the destructive use of the law. The Spirit of Christ, being in line with cosmic life, will always transcend, neutralize, destroy, and utterly obliterate the spirit of the Antichrist. Finally, only the Spirit of Christ can succeed. And that is a hope that we hold on to rather tightly. Okay, next section. Oneness with all law. When we know our oneness with God and law, what a great burden is removed. Any sense of opposition is removed from our consciousness, which perceives unity. That which we call our subjective mind is but a point in universal mind where our personality maintains its individualized expression of spirit. If we think of ourselves as being separated from the universe, we shall be limited by this thought, for it is a belief in separation from God which binds and limits. We are bound by nothing except belief. Emphasis earnest. They could not enter in because of their unbelief and because they limited the Holy One of Israel. Which I'm guessing is a Bible quote because it's in quotes. There is one mind. Here is the point. Everything we experience, touch, taste, handle, and smell, environment, bodies, conditions, money, happiness, friends, all are effects. Is it clear that the infinite and limitless possibilities of that one of which a person is a part depends in that person's expression upon their own concept? If one is a point of personality in limitless mind, which one is, and if all one life must be drawn from this one mind, which it must be, there cannot be anything else, can there? If there is nothing else, if there is nothing to move save mind, and if a person is a thinking center in mind, nothing is going to happen to them that does not happen through them. Whether it be the result of their own erroneous conclusions, those of their grandfather, or those of the race to which they belong. Oh, there's an exclamation point there. This is not in any sense fatalistic, for we may change the trends of causation, which has been set in motion at any time we decide to do so. Emphasis earnest, which is one of the reasons why you all see the change your thinking, change your life. Yep, that's exactly where that came from. Oh, I'm sure Ernest is not the only one that said it, though. Everything comes from intelligence. There is nothing but unity. There is nothing but freedom. There is nothing but completeness. There is nothing but totality. Begin at the beginning and reason this out, time after time, until all doubt disappears. It is necessary that each one do this for themselves. Such is the power of right thinking that it cancels and erases everything unlike itself. It answers every question, solves all problems, and is the solution to every difficulty. It is like the sunlight of eternal truth bursting through the clouds of obscurity and bathing all life in a celestial glory. It is the absolute with which we are dealing and nothing less. Well, that is chapter 6. And so tomorrow we will move on to chapter 7, which is summary of part 1, the nature of being. And it's really short. And then we'll move on to part 2. So, change your thinking, change your life. It's one of the reasons why I tend to lean into talking about the trend of your thoughts. Every thought has the potential to be creative, but not every thought is creative. The thoughts that are creative are the ones that we put all the emotion behind. So it is extremely important to be aware of the trend of our thoughts. So I hope you're getting as much out of this as I am. And good morning. I see you. So, and you're welcome. So that's where we're going. So hang on to Facebook Live around 11. There will be a service. And it's a good one. It's a good one. I got a preview, so it's a good one. All right. So basic housekeeping, just really quick. We are Creative Life Spiritual Center, Creative Life Spark. I'm the running Rev Ryan on the social medias that I am on. Please feel free to go like, share, subscribe, follow, do all that stuff. I do want to remind you that we are, our website is up. creativelife.org is back up. And you could also email info@creativelife.org. So that you know what's going on with the center. And I'm going to encourage you to have a great day, a wondrous day, a fantastic day, a magical day, an enchanted day, a wonderful day, an awesome day, an amazing day, a restful day, a turn the alarms off day, a get some stuff done day, a stay out of the sun day. I got enough sun yesterday. A do what you need to do day, a check in on a friend day, a whatever it is that you need to do day, a good day. And if that is too much pressure, simply have a day. You are enough just as you are. You are a beloved expression of the divine. You are spirit in motion, God in action, a brilliant light, a divine spark, or as Reverend Jesse likes to call us, you are a godling. All right. Explore the truth of your being. That's the whole point of Ernest Holmes. Explore the truth of your being. Get to know who the divine knows you to be. All right. The only promise I can make you is that the person that the divine knows you to be is good. That's it. The only promise I can make you. All right. So, like I said, there will be a service here on Facebook Live at 11. It'll also be on YouTube. It's one of the few times where the Facebook premiere and the YouTube are the same. Because we usually record it live, but here, that's where we're at. Thanks to the weather. Reverend David will be back around 5 p.m. with you, and I'll be back with you around 9 a.m. Take care of yourself. Know that you are loved, and I will see you next time.